And many years I was so much Mick Rock, it was painful. So, but she gotten over being Blondie and Debbie Harry in those years. So she's a very smart lady. Let me tell you, her intelligence was very severely underrated. She's amazingly sharp. People thought because she was cute and she sang kind of a poppier version of punk, that she was in some way less important. But as it so happens, she's turned out to be more important. And she's certainly as important as Patti Smith. Because I don't think back there critics were prepared to necessarily give her that kind of credit. I especially like some of these more relaxed shots like that. Look, all this. And I tell you, for even though, and these must have been taken in '79, a lot of these pictures, they look like they're having fun. Look, I mean, it doesn't seem, I'm not seeing anything there that would say anything negative. I mean, look at that. It's really a cool picture. I like the fun that they're having, and they genuinely seem to like. Look, and they're all big smart. They look like a band to me. They're one of the great bands, I think. If you think of a band as a unit that does something special musically, and you know, the passage of time, then you've got to count Blondie in there as a contender. Just the pure aesthetic of it. This has its own prime aesthetic. It doesn't matter what they did, and I love their version of I'm Gonna Love You Too. And I mean, they do a great version of that. Before Heart of Glass. Well, I'm trying to think what this one was about. I got all these radios. It was certainly My Madness. Or I remember in the sweat, it was a very hot day. Very hot. And I went down to Canal Street in New York. I had, in my mind, I didn't know where I was going to get them, but before the shoot, as was my wont, especially in those days, everything was absolutely last minute, and this would be just before the shoot. And found all these radios, and we just busted them up. And you can see in here, even though this is a bit rough, you can see how... I think I was making a comment. It was some kind of ironic thing about their popularity, about the radio thing, you know, but breaking them up so that it was punked out a bit too, you know. They were that pop punk thing. On the other hand, I don't know if you'd call that punk. I just call that beautiful, right? Don't you think? I mean, it sort of doesn't matter. Punk doesn't matter when you look like this young lady. Look, and the shoulder. Lovely pair of shoulders. Lovely. Ah, Deborah Harry. Look, and it all works. And these ones are took the same day. Very cute. Very different flavour from mine. Ah, look at that. Look, that one. Look, it drips. Drips. And what the hell that was about. And he's got all these aerials too. I don't know. I tell you something. I was in the thick of it. I was torrid with, shall we say, chemical toxicity. I can see she must have been having a good time though, because there's a lot of pictures of her laughing during the session. I did there was two basic outfits, but I shot them some close, some further away. I varied it a lot, some mid, as I normally do. It's not a static camera with me. I like to move it about and try different things. But I don't know how long it went on for. It probably wasn't that long. I mean, maybe about 3 hours, allowing for makeup. But I shot quite a lot of film. Then there's the session of Chris and Debbie at home. Could be Stern, one of those German magazines, and they wanted some pictures of Chris and Debbie at home, and they were very accommodating. And it was an evening. I remember that. I went up there. It was an evening, and it was. They didn't. Anything. They didn't want me to bring a load of people with me. They just wanted me to come on my own. So there was no makeup artist. Debbie did whatever she had to do. She did a completely natural kind of thing on herself, and it was just me and them, and it was fun. They were really very pleasant to see them at home. They were into these little surrealistic touches. I remember that was part of their persona. They were definitely first and foremost artists. They didn't come out of a pop thing. They came out of a downtown bohemian street thing. They were stylish, but not necessarily ostentatious. So for me it was a pleasant experience, and seems to have been fairly pleasant from the way these guys are acting in the pictures too. She's hardly got any makeup on. These black and white ones that may have been taken that night, or a night very close to then, and it's just pictures of her against a white wall, and there's a lack of pretense. Complete. You can see she's very stripped down in them, and you can see how pretty she is even without much makeup on. And she's just a little lady, but it's a very neat little package, you know. I just did them and they got put out, and that was that. But they're unique pictures of Chris and Debbie, because it's really them at home, very relaxed. Look, they're just larking about. Look at that. Chris is like pretending to pull one of those trolls out of it, like they were roasting trolls, and Debbie's got this funny expression. So I'm so relaxed with each other. So at the core of Blondie was a great love affair. It was Chris Stein and Debbie Harry. And I think it's nice they can still work with each other.